It's 8:36 right now. New York Governor Kathy Hochul and President Trump discussed the future of congestion pricing when they met at the White House Friday.
If the feds have their way, the toll would end this Friday, but congestion pricing will likely keep going while both sides figure it out in court. Staten Island Borough President Vito Fossella joining us this morning to weigh in on this issue and others. Good morning to you. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to all of you, my Irish mother and my Irish wife, and everybody who wants to be Irish today.
There you go, right? Okay, let's talk about congestion pricing. All right, it's been a thorn in your side since it was first proposed. We've talked to you about it endlessly.
Yes.
The lawsuits to block it didn't work. So now that the Trump administration wants to get rid of it, is that a glimmer of hope for you, or do you think this is going to really drag out in courts for quite some time, as they often do in courts?
Yeah, and thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about it endlessly, because our view was once, if it ever takes hold, it will never go away. And we sort of had a two-pronged approach from day one, right? Go fight in the courts, as we did with the UFT and so many others. But our hope was that President Trump would follow through on his promise to try to kill it. And that's really the big question right now. Can we do it from a political point of view? And my hope is he does, because, as we've said endlessly, this hurts the people of Staten Island in a very significant way, because many do not have a choice but to drive to work. And we already pay 2 tolls to Manhattan. This would be a third. This is a third. And their own studies validate that traffic gets worse in Staten Island and air pollution gets worse. So why would we support it? Which is why we've been fighting so hard, and we're hopeful that it ends this Friday. And if not, it will still fight it out in the courts if necessary.
Well, what has it been like over the past couple of months since congestion pricing went into effect? What's the traffic like on Staten Island?
It's a combination of things. A lot of people now have to, even though they wanted to drive for safety reasons, for convenient reasons, they can't afford it. I mean, that's really at the core of it. This is a several $1,000s a year tax on people who can least afford it. And that's what we felt for from day one. Has traffic increased in certain areas? Of course it has, because many have circumvented the central business district, which was anticipated. And but our view was, from a Staten Island very parochial point of view, this would hurt us. And there were people on the margins who said, I don't have another $2,000 or $3,000 a year to spend on traveling. And those are the people that we feel for the most.
So let's switch gears here and talk about this other big story, the Staten Island poultry market, the latest casualty in the bird flu outbreak, right? So any idea, I guess, how many live poultry markets there are on Staten Island? And then how do you kind of go about mitigating it so the disease doesn't spread?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too concerned. There's a handful. But in this case, as you reported about a little over a week ago, there was a poultry market that was tested by the state. And what had happened, they shut down for a few days and were allowed to reopen. Very low chance, to my understanding. I'm no scientist here, but there's very low chance of it transmitting to humans. So life goes on. We do what we can. This is a legitimate businesses. They're trying to do what they can. There's appropriate testing. And now once it's identified, they shut down. They have to clean out everything. And then they're allowed to reopen, which is what's taking place.
Okay. Well, we talked during the break about how you are going to the St. Patrick's Day parade here in the city, but you actually had the parade also on Staten Island. It was the first year that the LGBTQ Pride Center was included in the parade. How did the community respond to that?
It was great. The St. Patrick's Day Parade, for those who don't know, on Staten Island, is probably the best day on Staten Island. People from all over come out. You could see Forest Avenue is lined up with young and old alike. There are those every day, you know, see, the old expression is everybody's Irish on that day. And in this case, it was the most inclusive, and it's a new chapter. I think people responded. The parade route was packed, which was evidence and reflective of the mood. So we're just grateful that we can come out, celebrate our Irish heritage, but really come together as a community, as Staten Island has done. And now we can just look forward, and I think next year it'll be even better. One deterrent we can't control is the weather. In this case, it was a little cool, but nevertheless, it was packed, and it was a lot of fun.
Technically, you know, you can blame the groundhog. It was still technically winter. Borough President Vito Fossella, great to have you here.
Thank you always for having me on. Appreciate it.
Happy St. Patrick's Day.
Happy St. Patrick's Day to all.